You spent 40 years being careful. You saved, you stayed out of debt, you built a retirement that was supposed to last. Then, one ordinary afternoon, there is a fall, or a diagnosis, or a slow slide where a parent, or a spouse, or you simply cannot manage alone anymore, and a bill starts. It does not stop. It arrives every single month, in numbers most retirements were never built to survive. Jan nam tu sengd, in erkenstens, onenein one anymorn, and a mechend and $10,000 a year. Not once, every year, for as long as the care is needed. And here is the part that quietly takes families apart. The retirement you spent a lifetime building can be gone in under 3 years of it. Most people believe this is covered. They paid into Medicare for decades, and they assume that when the day comes, Medicare will be there for exactly this. It will not. And by the time most families find that out, the meter is already running. This is the one cost missing from almost every retirement plan I have ever seen. Today I am going to show you what long-term care actually costs, why the program you have counted on your whole life does not pay for it, how fast it can erase a careful retirement, and, most important, the handful of moves that actually protect you if you make them in time. Stay to the end, because the protection is real, but it comes with a deadline. Let me be precise about what we are talking about, because the word care hides how ordinary it really is. Long-term care is not surgery. It is not a hospital stay. It is help with the plain business of living, bathing, dressing, getting to the bathroom, eating, keeping track of medications. The kind of help a person needs when a body or a mind wears down, which for most of us is not an if, it is a when. The industry has a bland name for it, custodial care, and that bland little word sits right at the center of the whole trap, as you are about to see. Here is what it costs in 2026. According to the most recent National Cost of Care Survey, the median price of a private room in a nursing home is $129,575 a year. A semi-private room, sharing with a stranger, is $114,975. Assisted living costs less, but still runs well into the tens of thousands a year. Even bringing an aide into your own home for a few hours a day adds up faster than almost anyone expects. And these numbers do not sit still. Care costs have been climbing faster than regular inflation for years, pushed up by a worker shortage that only gets worse as the country ages. So whatever the figure is today, plan on it being higher the year you actually need it. Now hold that number in your head, $129,000 a year, because the next thing I am going to tell you is what most people wrongly believe pays for it. Ask most people who is going to pay for a nursing home, and they will tell you Medicare. It is the most expensive, wrong assumption in American retirement. I need you to really hear that because it runs against everything you would reasonably expect after a lifetime of payroll taxes. Medicare will cover one short, specific kind of stay. If you are hospitalized first, and then you move to a skilled nursing facility for actual medical recovery, Medicare pays the full cost for the first 20 days. From day 21 through day 100, it pays only part, and you owe a daily share. On day 101, Medicare's coverage for that stay ends completely. But that is skilled care. Short-term rehabilitation, the kind you get better from. The care that drains retirements is the other kind, the custodial care I just described, the ongoing help with daily living that can stretch on for years. Medicare does not cover that at all. Not for 100 days, not for 1 day. That bland word, custodial, is the exact line where your coverage stops and your own savings start paying. So who does pay? There are really only 3 payers. You, out of your own savings, until they run out. A long-term care policy, if you bought one while you still could. Or Medicaid, the program for people with almost nothing left, which only steps in after you have spent down nearly everything you worked for. For most careful savers, that middle payer, insurance arranged in advance, is the only thing standing between the first one and the last. And most people never set it up. Let me put the math on a real-sized retirement, because the speed is the part people cannot believe until they see it. Meet Ed and Barbara. Ed is 73, Barbara is 71. They were careful their whole lives. They saved more than most, $350,000 on top of their Social Security. By the standards of this country, that is a genuinely successful retirement. They felt secure. Then Ed has a stroke. He survives, but he can no longer be cared for safely at home, and he moves into a nursing home. The bill is $129,000 a year. Watch what happens to 35 years of careful saving. Year 1, their $350,000 drops to around $220. Year 2, it falls to roughly $90. Somewhere in year 3, it is gone. Under 3 years, and the entire nest egg that was supposed to last both of them the rest of their lives has gone to a single facility for a single person. And here is the quiet cruelty of it. Barbara is still healthy. Barbara could live another 20 years. But the money that was supposed to carry her through those years went to Ed's care, because there was no plan for this and no line in their retirement that ever accounted for it. She does not only lose her husband to his decline, she loses the security she spent a lifetime building at exactly the age when she can no longer rebuild it. This is not a rare story. Remember, roughly 70% of people who reach 65 will need some form of long-term care before they die. This is not the exception. It is closer to the rule. And notice this was not a decades-long decline. It was one stroke and under 3 years. Some care needs stretch far longer, 5 years, even 10, and the ones that go longest are often the memory care cases, the exact ones families least expect and can least afford. The point is not that everyone loses everything. It is that a single ordinary health event landing on a retirement with no plan for it can undo 35 years of discipline faster than almost any market crash ever could. So if it is this common and this expensive, why does almost nobody have a plan for it? 3 reasons. The first is denial, and it is deeply human. Nobody wants to picture themselves needing help just to bathe. It is easier to imagine dying quickly and comfortably in our sleep than to plan for a long, slow need for care. So we look away, and looking away can feel like optimism when it is really just exposure. The second is the assumption we just took apart. If you believe Medicare has you covered, then there is nothing to plan for. The trap is not only the cost, it is the false sense that the cost is already handled. People do not prepare for a risk they have been quietly led to believe does not exist. The third is that nobody's job is to warn you. Your Medicare paperwork will not mention it. Your retirement account statement will not mention it. There is no line anywhere that says, by the way, the single largest expense of your late life is the one thing none of this covers. It sits in silence until the day it arrives, and by then almost every good option has already closed. That last part is the one I want to fix, because there are good options. Nearly all of them just have to be set up while you are still healthy, still relatively young, and still holding real choices. Which brings me to what actually protects you. Here is what genuinely stands between you and this. You have a few real options, and the right one depends on your health, your savings, and your age right now. The first is traditional long-term care insurance. You pay an annual premium, and if you later need care, the policy pays a daily or monthly benefit toward it. Bought at the right age, it can cover the exact years that would otherwise wipe you out. The catch is that you generally have to buy it in your 50s or early 60s while you are healthy enough to qualify, because these policies are medically underwritten and the price climbs steeply the longer you wait. The second is a newer kind of policy, a hybrid. It combines life insurance or an annuity with a long-term care benefit. If you need care, it pays for care. If you never do, it still pays your heirs a death benefit, so the money is not simply gone either way. For people who hate the idea of paying premiums for something they might never use, hybrids answered the biggest objection, and they have become the more popular choice. And you do not need a policy that covers every dollar to win here. Even a benefit that absorbs half of a care bill can be the difference between a nest egg that lasts 3 years and one that lasts 10, which is often the difference between the healthy spouse keeping her home and losing it. The third is deliberate self-funding. If you have enough, you can decide in advance to wall off a specific slice of your savings, kept separate and invested, that exists only to absorb a care event so that it does not devour the retirement your spouse is depending on. And the fourth is simply understanding early where you would stand, knowing what care costs in your state, knowing whether you would lean on insurance or on your own money, knowing that Medicaid, the last resort, only steps in after you have spent down almost everything first. None of this is pleasant to sit with. Every piece of it is far easier to arrange today than in a hospital hallway with a caseworker. There is one mistake that turns every one of those options into none of them, and it is the same mistake almost everyone makes: waiting. You cannot buy the umbrella once the storm has already started. Long-term care insurance and hybrid policies are medically underwritten, which means the insurer looks hard at your health before they let you buy in. Wait until you already have the diagnosis, and you are no longer eligible at any price. Wait even a few years too long while you are healthy, and the premium can double. The most valuable thing you hold in this entire equation is not money. It is time and health, and the years when you still qualify. That window is roughly your mid-50s to your mid-60s. If you are inside it right now, you are holding something most people only recognize the worth of after it is closed. If you are past it, do not assume the door is shut, because some options, including hybrid policies and self-funding, are still open. You just want to move on them on purpose, rather than drift. The people who come through a long-term care event with their retirement still standing are almost never lucky. They were early. They made a quiet decision years before anyone needed care, and that decision is the whole reason the story ends differently for them than it did for Ed and Barbara. If you are somewhere in your 50s or 60s, and no one had ever told you plainly that the biggest cost of your later life is the one Medicare will not touch, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Somewhere out there is a careful couple exactly like Ed and Barbara, feeling secure, with no idea the meter is one phone call away from starting. This channel exists so that couple hears it while they still have every option in front of them. Here is your one job this week. Find two numbers. First, what a year of nursing home care actually costs in your state, because it varies a great deal. Second, be honest with yourself about where that money would come from if you needed care starting next year. Your own savings, a policy you do not yet have? That single hour of looking, while nothing is wrong, is the difference between choosing your plan and letting the bill choose it for you. One honest word before you go. Which option fits you depends on your health, your age, your savings, and your family, and long-term care insurance in particular is a detailed decision with real trade-offs. Talk it through with a fee-only financial planner or a long-term care specialist before you buy anything. What I have given you today is the risk and the window. A good advisor helps you walk through it while the door is still open. With Finkel Dumti, Wenda Linus.